Okay. I hope it's
So good morning, everybody. So I did not intend to give this presentation, and but I will do it anyway because there are so nice young boys around here that requested to have a retro thing, and so as a lot of the people in the room are retro interested, I will try to do that. But before I start the most recently available commercial visual works just as it comes out of the box. It starts up like this. So you have two screens there. You have the launcher and you have a system workspace that explains to you what it is, etc., etc. And then you have the option to load components. And when we do AT benchmarks, we can load that and get it into the system. You get more interesting than benchmarks. I actually, for the day-to-day work, AT advanced tools, the profiler. So the profiler is something I can recommend to everybody. But right now we are doing here benchmarks, and then you can go on advanced and say, okay, we could do the benchmark, or we start the benchmarks and we say, okay, we want to run them. And then you see that they are running, and you see something like on this machine right now, you can do it several times. The speed of this machine is somewhere between, in the order of, up there was 12,000, and down here it is 14,000. This figure is a percentage to the famous Dorado. That was a machine built by Xerox back in the around 1980. So that was microcoded and was the standard machine to run Smalltalk 80. So, and you want it to be on a machine at 100 Dorado. Now we are at 14,000 on that machine. But when the machine is empty and nothing else is running, it goes more to 20. So that's today's world. Let's close this. Now let's go retro. So with the hint of the boys, I downloaded the most recent Atari emulator, which is available last night. I did it because that one I had two problems. First, it didn't run anymore on current Windows 10. And second, I couldn't run Smalltalk on it because I needed a feature which was not done in the 2004 emulator. So I click in here. So now I have an Atari Mega ST with a regular screen. So this is the screen. So, okay, so that's the outside world. That's the frame of the computer, so of the real monitor. And I have a hard disk, which you had to purchase separately. Hard disks in those days had 20 megabytes. That was the big one. There was a smaller one with 10 megabytes. We never used that one. It was this size of a box, like a shoebox, but a flat shoebox. A shoebox for one shoe, you could say. And I already have it pre-installed, so I could also go in and mount the floppies, but I have the pre-installed hard drive, and already I have on here the installation of Smalltalk 80. And it came after you installed it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 directories. Actually, the windowing system the Atari had could open up to 7 windows and the screen behind. So that was it, not more than 7 windows. And in here you have demos. And the demos are the clock, the counter, the textile, toothpaste. There's toothpaste. It is there. I didn't know it was there. Okay, great. Oh, I closed it. I don't want to close it.
Dragon.
And dragging? Yeah, you can drag it around.
The fractal.
The fractal, demo?
Can you buy one this version?
No, no. But the financial accounting, that's the standard example from the blue book is in here. And you have printing. So you could do hard copies, .st. You had all these were files in, and you had the fonts. These are the standard PostScript fonts. So, and then you have a README in there. So all this fine stuff. Okay, but I don't. I always close one too many. Now let's start in the thing. Now we have the VM. We can start the VM. And we have to give it an image parameter. So the image is in, it clicks like, and it has to be in Unix way. And I first start the, and then it starts. And this is how it came to you. So what do we see here? We see the system transcript. You've seen it before. You have the system workspace. And as Smalltalk 80 wanted larger screens, it scrolls when you move to the mouse to the edges. And, huh? You didn't know about that?
You should add that into Visual.
No, you don't want to have that edit because here, compared to all the other versions, this version is the mostly close to the D series. It takes control of the entire system. You can open more than 7 windows. It takes the frame buffer and operates directly on the frame buffer. And it does not use the jam windowing system, but goes directly on it. So this is how it works. Now, the question is, at those days you needed, bye-bye, have a safe trip home. You needed a 3-button mouse. But Atari's only had 2-button mice, and that was the problem. What did we do? The mouse itself had 2 adjoined buttons. So you could just put your finger in the middle and press both at the same time. That was the middle mouse button. And we had special mice where we soldered diodes inside. So whenever you would press the middle mouse button, the 2 signals were sent to the computer. Because it was just closing circuits, very simple. And the old emulator only got you 1 click, not the second one. When the mouse was clicked, either right or left, this is what you got. If you press the second one, it won't work, so you could not do anything. So I'm so happy. Last night, at about 10 or 11-ish, when I was back from the wonderful dinner, it was the first time in decades I could use a Smalltalk 80 version 2.3 system again. So you can see I can press both buttons and I get the middle mouse menu. And I can open a browser here.
This is really, really close to the first versions of Squeak that came out already.
Yeah, but Squeak is not a successor of this. It's a sibling. This is version 2.1, 2.3. And Squeak was spun off at version 1, Smalltalk 80 version 1. But it's very, very similar. And you have here now you have the protocols over here. You have the method dictionary. Of course, you have everything. You can even do comments, I think. Comment. And maybe the comment text is still there in Faro and VisualWorks today. Maybe this comment was never changed.
Georg is a direct descendant of this artist?
Yes, direct descendant. And so you have the methods over here. So, and maybe even this, but you had a different character for the up arrow. The up arrow is a real up arrow and not the caret. But on the keyboard, it was the caret even in those days.
Yeah, I remember even playing with Squeak, the assignment was actually a left arrow and not a colon equals.
Yeah, it was entered by the underscore. There you are. It's the left arrow, and if I press the underscore, that's it. So it really works. So we could go in here now. We can put the right button and close it again. It's just like in the old days. It's amazing. And I could open a file list. And go in here and say ... / Unix notation, asterisk, accept. That shows us, just go in here and say utilities and can load the benchmarks. So I have double click here. I think the double click, no, double click doesn't work. I have to say new pattern. And then I can say benchmark. And this, huh?
So this emulator is actually running at Atari ST speed.
Yes, sir. It is not faster. So it's a emulated 68,000. And we can load it. Now we can get contents. So now it's reading from the disk. Now this is the source code in chunk format, all the tests. And I could also do file in. Now, let's try filing from, so it will now compile this huge file and present the results in here. And then we can even run the benchmarks. And I already did twice, and they are at 40%, 44% of the Dorado, which was gorgeous in those days. If you look at the price, a Dorado was $200,000 or $100,000, something like that. And an Atari ST was, the Mega ST was, that was the regular ST. You had to use the Mega ST, that one with 4 megabytes of memory. So the 2 megabyte was just okay, but you wanted the 4 megabyte machine, and it was more like $9.99 or Deutschmarks. So maybe $600 or something like that. Yeah. Plus hard disk. Hard disk was another couple of hundred. Was not for free. And when everything is compiled, we can run it, and it will show that today's systems are 500 times faster. It's only 500 times, so that's a.
Feel 500 times faster, Georg?
What?
Why don't they feel 500 times faster?
They do. So if you go back and run them that way. So actually, if you can't run this directly on modern hardware. You could. But actually, the virtual machine on here is so-called PS, portable Smalltalk, but everybody said it's Peter Smalltalk, and Peter Deutsch. And it's written half in C and half in 68,000 assembler. It has a JIT, implemented in assembly language, generating assembly language. It has a reference counting. No, does it have reference counting? It had a different garbage collector there. It didn't have the generation scavenging that we have now. So the Schiffman article was not used in here. It was a 32-bit architecture, not the 16-bit architecture that was there before. And okay, it was It was modern by then. So if you look at the different versions of, let's say, VisualWorks or and predecessors, you have versions which introduce new features, and you have intermediate versions, and you have versions where you say, yes, this is a good high quality version you can really work with. And 2.3, which is this version, is a version where you can say, this is really a stable version that really you could work with, like VisualWorks 2.5.2 is another one, or 5i4 is the next one. Then the late sevens of the same. They are just versions where you say, oh, no new features in here, but really solid technology, and this is what it does also. So if we make it a little bit larger, open a browser, and I will also load the toothpaste, and that will be my last thing. Now, I think the find class is called benchmark. Yeah, it's in system support, so even hard to find. On the class side, we find standard tests.
It would be interesting to run the same benchmarks on Hobbs under VisualWorks, running at the full speed of your machine. You know, remember Vasili's virtual machine that he wrote for VisualWorks that runs the old Smalltalk 80?
Yeah, you could do that. The Hobbs.
Yeah, that would be a fun comparison.
Yeah. So it takes a while and a lot of clicking. So believe me, it's 44%, which is really something. Yeah, I could do that, but if you have time. Tests, standard tests, so benchmark, it works. No, I have to press 2 characters, say do it, like today. Do you want to make a comparison? Yes, I want to compare. Do you want to just calculate others? Yes. Show transcript for reports? No. Should I say no? That was flashing. Could you see the flashing? No, it wants a click. I can. It says the number of iterations. We should have made the.
So all the time that everything was going by in the transcript, that was just filing in, that was just compiling.
No, it's running the tests.
It was running.
It's just running the tests. Now it's running the next test and reading what's in the transcript. You can see, find all calls on print radix : it was 1 repetition, 5.5 seconds. Find all implementers of next, 2 seconds. Yeah. Testing, compile, dummy method, 5 repetitions, 5 point. So, decompile class input sensor in 3.4 seconds. And now it's text editing. This is always fun to see. And there's another one that does the same thing, just text display. Inserting text. Bitblit. Oh no, this is now the result. And if I click, what is it? It's 44.7% of a Dorado. Now we can, and you see here now there's garbage on the screen. So if I click around, actually it doesn't leave. I think it even leaves holes. No, that was the before system even left holes on the screen. This already does the redraw, but it does not. If you go directly to the screen, it never redrawed. You say so. I have to restore the screen. So I can go in here and say, do the another file list. I'm not used to it anymore. It's only 20 years I have used it, or 25. That was in, we found it in demos. Okay. New pattern. And it was called, I can't even, where's toothpaste? There. Form class examples. This is where it goes. So we need to find the class. Open a browser. It wasn't faster in those days, believe me. We gave to the engineer, to the programmers, these slow machines that they would never ever think the user could have a faster machine. Class site, examples, toothpaste.
Is this fluoridated toothpaste?
Huh?
Is the fluoride in the
Fluoride in
toothpaste?
it? Does it have fluoride in it?
Fluoride. Let me translate that for you. Fluoride is something.
I know. I'm just
I don't know
reading.
that it's going to be in this demo. This might be an earlier version.
Yes.
It's black and white, so.
Yeah.
Fluoride.
Yes.
It's even slow, like real toothpaste. There you go. Can you load the AT profiler in here and?
Yes.
You're not enjoying this?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Sure. There's the profile. I think the profiler was there. Okay. That's it.